everybody, it is Avilo here, aviloSoAmaze, giving you the second metagame update of 2021. And yeah, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to make these weekly, talking about StarCraft, metagame, and maybe some upcoming gaming news as well. And yeah, so let's get into it. Today's July 4th, 2021. So first of all, happy 4th of July, everybody. If you're from the USA, if you're not, well, you probably like freedom, so that's a good thing. Celebrate it, and yeah, happy Independence Day, everybody. And let's get right into it. I actually have to correct a mistake from last week, guys. Patch Watch, 332 days. It's actually not 310 days left. The patch came out August 6, 2020. Today's July 4th, 2021. So it's actually been 332 days since the last StarCraft 2 patch. So let's do something about that. Let's try and get, again, the more this gets into the public consciousness, then hopefully other content creators and streamers and people will jump on board and talk about it. And maybe we can get a patch for the game. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Second off here, I want to get into this unknown man is still on the loose. And I did this joke last week. I'm going to put him up here on the screen. But I actually wanted to talk about this because it is pertinent to the next topic I'm going to get into. Barcodes. On the StarCraft game, on Battle.net, on the ladder, it's really bad for the game when there's people able to barcode and create anonymous accounts. It just doesn't make it good for the ladder environment. Also, half the time these people make these barcode accounts to snipe streamers, stream cheat, map hack, other degenerate things. It's just not good. So yeah, I mean, this is a topic that people don't really talk about in games much. It's more of a fresh one in the last 5 or 10 years as streaming has come up, and streamers that get even like 10 viewers get stream sniped. You guys have seen me when I'm doing my Zerg the GM challenge, how often I get sniped by, for example, a barcode Protoss. It's always a barcode Protoss, or just people in general. Yeah, I think, and this is gonna take me right into the next topic that I kind of want to talk about, which is the new RTS games that are coming out, you know. But before I get into that, one thing about, so I'm gonna put this up on the screen. This is the round of 8 bracket for DreamHack, for the latest DreamHack tournament. This is the round of 8 bracket. You'll notice there are no Protosses in that bracket. Does that mean Protoss is underpowered? Of course not. And this is this is what has been wrong with StarCraft for so long. I'm worrying that people that don't understand the game at any fundamental level have any type of influence on balance, but they do. Because the vocal minority of people that don't understand the game at all, in any capacity, but think they do, will start making a ruckus that there are no Protosses in the round of 8. Protoss must be underpowered, when it's completely the opposite. Protoss is 60% plus on some on like North America. I think on every ladder right now, the game is inundated with Protoss PvPs. In the DreamHack bracket, no Protoss made it through. Does that mean they're underpowered? Of course not. By the same token, if there's a lot of Protoss on the ladders, on the competitive ladders, does that mean they're overpowered? Not necessarily, of course not. The issue is, it's a matter of balance, game design, and game health. Is it health? It's the way the game plays. So, on ladder, when you queue into a Protoss, you know you're running into somebody that is playing right now something that has been made too easy because it got buffed too much. And while, you know, it might be enjoyable the first 20 times or whatever, holding off a Void Ray all in with shield batteries, it's not enjoyable after like so many times in a row. Also affects tournament meta, because it's not healthy too if Protoss players have to rely on these gimmicks and things to then try. Those are more easily counterable in tournament play and best out of 3s. So maybe that in general is why Protoss didn't do well, for example, in this latest bracket. It has nothing to do with Protoss being underpowered because no Protoss players made it. It has to do more with the fact that the current design of the game could not be favoring Protoss when they have to rely on these gimmicky things that are more easily predictable in a best out of 3 match. Now on the ladder, where it's just everybody against a random player, you can be against a barcode, against whoever, doesn't matter, you don't know what they're gonna do. Protoss is much more unpredictable, which leads to a higher win percentage on the ladder, more Protoss players, which then ends up making people play Protoss, and then other people don't like it because it's, again, they added too many things last patch with the Void Rays and whatnot. 332 days again since the last patch. So I just wanted to add that in there. The metagame. Oh, we're also seeing a metagame shift. Terran players are starting to play mech again. Huh. I tuned in a little bit for a couple minutes, and I tuned in here and there, and I hear these commentators saying, guys, please, in whatever chats, call this out. It's really, really funny and interesting that mech disappeared from the meta about 6 months to 8 months ago, I would estimate. That's when I stopped playing the game and stopped streaming the game. Well, influencers, content creators do have an impact on metas, especially at GM level or pro level or whatever. People can meme all they want, like, ha ha ha, like, you're not a pro gamer, blah blah blah. The truth is, these commentators saying, like, oh man, mech is coming back, people... Well, that's weird. Guys, didn't the god of mech, Avilo, me, didn't I just start streaming the game again? Oh, well, all of a sudden, people are starting to play and dabble in mech again. That's really weird. It's almost like the 6 to 8 months that I didn't play the game, everybody stopped doing it because they didn't have any you know, they didn't have anybody to follow or to, like, learn from that was playing mech. Now, all of a sudden, I come back and it's starting to show up a lot more in quote-unquote pro play or tournament play. I find it hilarious that some of these commentators, they don't see the correlation, or they pretend, you know, they try and ignore it, but we all know. You guys know, I know, we all know. And it is funny how much a couple stylistic players, whether in GM, Grandmasters, or pro and tournaments, do affect what the rest of the player base ends up doing, because then if people have seen me going mech when I started streaming again and how strong it is, that means one other guy, 2 other guys might try it, and then it starts snowballing where other players are like, oh, maybe this is the good way to play, since this isn't, you know, bio isn't cutting it. Maybe this is the way that, maybe this is still good. And they try it, refine it, and then it ends up coming back into the meta. So, I just think that's funny that I've heard multiple commentators. I mean, again, I feel like they're all little biatches for pretending, like, you know, it's funny, I stopped streaming and making content for like 6 to 8 months or however long it was that I took a break. Mech disappeared completely, like, maybe there's like 1 game out of like hundreds. I come back, suddenly mech is coming back. Who would have thought? Interesting. Anyways, to top off this week for the meta of StarCraft, Protoss still broken, no patch in 332 days now. I do think that there needs to be fundamental changes to Protoss balance, which will then affect design, because I feel Protoss is always, right now, everybody I think agrees Protoss is too strong in the ladder. Maybe not in tournament play, but again, it's a different beast than best out of 3s, and there is something to be said for like player fatigue. If one race gets a little too strong and they're just laddering doing all ends, they end up not practicing standard play as much, which is better in tournament play, and then maybe they end up losing, you know, they end up losing in tournaments more. So it'll be interesting if we could ever get the game patched again. I am being cynical and saying it probably won't be, and that's whatever. If Protoss ever is patched, Zerg will just end up taking the throne again, and hopefully the hope is that we get some good changes overall, but I'm not too optimistic about that. Here's something I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to last week. So just to end off this metagame update, new RTS releases and developments and upcoming things that I'll go more into depth in the next metagame update, but I just wanted to, you know, kind of get you guys ready, because I haven't talked about this in uploaded content before. I have on stream a little bit. So there are 3 RTS games that are in development, or rather have companies that have been created around them, that are really interesting. So the first one, obviously, that everybody knows about is Frost Giants, which has a lot of the former Blizzard developers, such as Tim Morton, and, you know, there's a bunch of other ones. And the game, they announced that they had investors or whatever, and it's being backed by Riot Games actually, which I think I mentioned in the last Metagame update. But there's so a lot of the former Blizzard devs have kind of like dispersed into other companies or whatever, and they're all making RTS games. So Frost Giants is the one probably within the next 2 years. Maybe we'll as a gaming community see something maybe like a pre-alpha or whatever from them. And I think that is probably the highest hopes for RTS. For a new RTS game similar or better than StarCraft, which is the biggest point that I have to make, guys. These games that are in development or are going to potentially be coming out saying that they're going to revive the RTS genre or take the reins from StarCraft, they have to be as good or better than SC2. So I am a little bit optimistic that that, for example, I think Frost Giants, they seem like they have an understanding that they're working on the base gameplay and design, such as pathfinding, the AI, user interface, all that stuff. I think those guys are on the right track for like essentially a successor to StarCraft 2. I think they're on the right track from everything that I've seen. It seems like they're on the right track, and they're the main ones that have announced that they're making an RTS. And again, next metagame update, I plan to cover these a lot more in depth with some articles and stuff. But I just wanted to get people into like what has been going on. Portals is another RTS game from Sunspear Games. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the alpha. There is like an alpha or pre-alpha out. This game, I don't know about it because when I did see when it was first like announced, even like months ago, and they originally, I feel like they're making a mistake trying to cater too much to casuals, and I feel like this is a mistake that these new RTS developers or whatever RTS are being made, they can't fall into the trap of making it too easy. These guys originally had said, and they have backtracked on this, but they said, or they were designing the game to be almost 2v2 focused at one point. Maybe this has changed. Maybe this has changed currently. But I clearly remember, and I remember because I even had tuned into like a stream that was like talking about the game before. Because originally, for some reason, they were focusing on the 2v2 aspect, which is just weird because no one wants a 2v2 game. No one's gonna play a 2v2 game. So hopefully that has changed and they've realized that won't work because RTS is a 1v1 archetype game. A team game RTS is not going to really appeal. There's MOBA games. There's already games out there that are team oriented. Maybe they, I understand that they wanted to make like the team game mode actually get more love, which is fine. That's great. That's if to give team game mode more love is fine. But to center the RTS around that, I think they kind of like backed people. There were other people calling them out for this, and I think they, now in the last month or 2 or 3, I haven't seen a word about the 2v2 focus because I think they realized that like, oh wait, that's gonna kill our game before it's launched. I mean, that's just my opinion too, but it seems like they've reeled back and the worrying thing is, they have, from the pre-alpha stuff that I've seen, they were talking about basic design features which aren't implemented, such as hotkeys and stuff. And I feel like they're from what I've seen, they're concentrating too much on things that don't matter instead of the gameplay, like the lore. No one cares about the lore. People want a good RTS game to play. Sure, the lore, whatever, is fine, but it's worrying that they didn't have hockey. They might by now, but it's worrying that from the pre-alpha things that I've seen, apparently it wasn't important enough to have hotkeys before they entered pre-alpha. That's a really worrying sign. I cannot imagine Frost Giants or any other new RTS coming out. I cannot imagine even showing a pre-alpha without having functional hotkeys. And this goes back to what I said before. These games have to be as good or better than StarCraft in interface, or no one will play them for a long term. They'll play them and then quit, and then go back to StarCraft or whatever games. So that's kind of worrying, but I mean, there's some potential there. So we got Frost Giants, we got Sunspear Games making Immortals. the Frost Giants game doesn't have a name yet, as we know. In the last game, or the last big news, actually, no one has covered this yet, but Uncapped Games. This is a new RTS development or gaming studio that has just been announced with Tencent backing or whatnot, and former Blizzard balance developer David Kim is a huge part of this one. I've talked about this on stream. So, I mean, people will know, obviously, people are going to talk about it in the RTS community. People know that David Kim was a former Blizzard balance developer, and, you know, there's the famous tire iron thing with Idra and David Kim in the past, and, you know, I've given him a lot of crap in the past. Let's go to the positives. You know, anyone making an RTS game, you know, has to have some respect because they're gonna try, especially, you know, try to bring back the RTS genre, and there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential with RTS that's not being done, and somebody like David Kim, as much crap as players have given him in the past, including myself, I am a little bit. I will try and be optimistic, in that he's probably learned a lot from his experiences, you know, on StarCraft, and what, you know, hopefully he and other people took away that things like swarm hosts are not good, and things like free units are not good, and things that and that, you know, famously, just because a matchup is 50-50 win rate doesn't mean you should keep Infested Broodlord in the game for a year, allowing the game to bleed off its player base. So we can be optimistic, and so yeah, these are three Frost Giants, Uncapped Games, Sunspear Games. These are three RTS gaming studios that have sprung up that are, you know, possibly the future of RTS. But again, I don't think, you know, it'll be interesting to see. You know, I'm hoping that they make good games. You know, you know, in the future, when these games again go alpha, pre-alpha, the only thing I'll have to offer is constructive criticism. I'll probably honestly play them anonymously because I don't want to be harassed whenever these games come out. That's a topic for another day. But I think, you know, it's good that there's so many RTS in the next 1-2 years maybe that are on the horizon here for StarCraft 2 fans and RTS fans, Command and Conquer fans, Age of Empires, all these RTS games of the past. You know, the RTS market these guys are smart. It's an untapped market, so let's look forward to that. And yeah, I guess that's it for about this metagame update. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you want me to cover in the next one. I'll probably go in more depth to, you know, different articles and things about these games, and yeah. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching. Again, let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody. I'll be back on stream, you know, as usual. Hopefully, you know, by the time these games come out, I'll end up streaming these games and making content for those too. So that's the plan. Anyways, thanks for watching. Second metagame update of 2021. I'll do another one of these next week. So leave ideas in leave stuff you want me to talk about, or you know, you can even link stuff in the comments, or you know, again, any new information that comes out you want me to talk about, feel free, and I will try and cover it in the next video. So see you guys later. Peace out, peoples.